One of the fog light bulbs is burnt out. So I got these LEDs. One thing when you're buying LEDs, well, two things actually. One, get ones that have a heat sink because these things get fucking hotter than the sun. And if you can get them with a fan, even better. Two, make sure you get ones with the LED in the correct location. Because I've seen so many of these where they just change the mounting bracket on them, and you can see that the orientation of this isn't lined up this, because the actual filament in the bulb matters for its orientation, because that determines how far out, like, the actual filament is in the bulb. Where that is determines where it reflects off of the reflector to aim the light coming out. So if you have this in some random location or at some other weird angle, then you're going to be driving around blinding everyone on the road like a dickhead. You know, basically HIDs, because they just throw light everywhere because they don't have a projector to project the light forward. These are DOT compliant, they don't blind people, and they're just really bright. You just have to make sure that you actually get good ones. So you're not going to be throwing light out at every which direction, blinding everyone. Not to mention, light that scatters in every direction is not focused. So if it's not focused, that means that the light isn't going a far distance because it's being scattered everywhere and then dies out. So your light throw is also significantly reduced. Which basically means that getting proper LEDs not only don't blind everyone on the road, but you can also see further because it projects your light correctly. So, I don't know. Fun fact about lights. But I have to pull the whole front bumper to do that for the fog lights because one of them is directly behind the intercooler, so you can't get to it. You have to take the bumper off to do it. So while I do that, I'm also going to pull the headlights, make my life a lot easier because this freaking sucks trying to get in here. Like, I can barely fit 2 fingers in there, and I'm supposed to get my whole ass hand in there to try. I'm not dealing with it. I'm taking the whole bumper off, taking the headlights out. I'm gonna change them like that. It'll be just way easy. I gotta grab some tools, start yelling at this thing. So the first thing here is we should have right here, here, and here. Those are Torx 30s. And then since we have everything apart, we should have 6 Torx 25s in here to take out as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 up there. And then this little plastic thing right here, this little plastic clip. And then there's going to be 2 more around here and around here. And then there's going to be 2 10mm bolts right here. So we're going to need a really long extension to get to those. Yeah, it's basically everything. And you just like pull it right off. Make sure to disconnect the lights and everything when we do that. So Torx 25. I already have the Torx 30 out. I'm going to need a long extension. That'll work. And then we need a deep 10mm on it. This is probably overkill, but it's gonna make my life easier. First, let's pop these off right here. These are the Torx 30s. Oh my god, why is that on there so tight? Who did these things? Oh my god, that's gonna strip. Jesus Christ. Oh, okay. Oh my god. Man, these are not supposed to be this tight. I think the torque spec for these is it's only like 52 inch-pounds. Like, come on. Oh my god. Like, and looking at these bolts, there's some corrosion on there, but it's really not that bad. Someone was in here, and someone friggin' He-Man these things on. Oh my god. Tight is not tight, people. Torque specs. Oh my god. God. Yeah, that's not that much corrosion. That should not have been that tight. Now let's do all these Torx 25s. There we are. So that little plastic thing comes out. Be able to move this out of the way. Oh yeah, crunchy. Torx 25 right here. Another one right here. They're really long 10mm. Those are gonna be way, way over there. I don't even know if you're gonna be able to see this because I can barely see this. It's those bolts in there. There we are. Okay, now we just repeat it on the other side. Oh my god, this fender liner is such a fuck. Oh yeah, let's just make it so you gotta remove the whole goddamn bumper to change a bulb that's gonna routinely burn out. Yeah, that's not gonna be inconvenient at all. Germany. God damn it. Stop! Jesus Christ. Stay the hell out of the way. Oh god, where'd that go? Everything's done. Okay, so now this just pulls off. But before I do, I just want to show you the nonsense that you gotta deal with. These don't come out. And then right here we have the intercooler. So you can't get in through here to get to the fog light. And then over here, we have the other intercooler. And again, you can't get to the fog light. because the fog light's in front of it. Like the fog light's like up over here. It's like you would have to reach all the way in, and then even then you can't because it has a whole baffle that goes all the way around the intercooler. Like you can almost reach the back of the bulb from in here, but then you won't be able to unplug it. And this is one piece, so you can't take this off. It's the only way to do it, at least without breaking anything, is to go in from the back by taking the whole bumper off. Okay, one side off. There we are. These little rubber things in there. And that's the height adjustment, so you can fit the gap under the headlight. And the rubber, and the old, so sticking. Oh my god. So really hard to get off. It has one wiring loom for the whole bumper. So let's undo that. And now we can just access the fog lights. So easy. So now these are what I was talking about here for the bumper adjustment. So they slide in, and that determines the bumper's height to the headlight to close that gap. And they're reverse threaded. So you loosen it to go all the way in, and then you tighten it to go all the way out. That's your adjustment to the headlight. And we moved the bumper, so we should have to adjust it regardless. There's a bolt in the top, so with an extension, we can get down to it and adjust it once it's actually on the car. Now, this one right here, I don't know, fair amount of corrosion. That one's not bad. This one right here isn't even seated all the way in. Someone's been in here because this isn't even screwed all the way in. They have a double head on them. These inserts have a thread inside. So where did I put the socket? So these are Torx 50s. And now to stop these from loosening, they're reverse threaded. So this is tightening it. So now that's all the way in. This one's all the way in. It's all good. So they're reverse threaded. So when you tighten the other one, you're actually loosening this. So I'm wondering if that's what happened, was someone friggin' he-manned this thing so hard that they started tightening on this one, which was loosening it. They probably thought they stripped it. One thing I like to do with stuck bolts, get penetrating fluid in it all and just work the bolts in and out a couple times. So it acts as kind of like a makeshift tap. So the threads of the bolt are gonna work any corrosion through. So I'm just gonna work these in and out by hand. As soon as there's resistance, back it out, put it back in. Right now it's not tight, but it has a lot of resistance. So when I force this in, if you watch this bottom piece, it's gonna start loosening out. So that's probably what happened when someone was putting this bumper on. Because right now I'm loosening and it just tightened that insert. And now we're gonna free the bolt out of the insert because we're tightening the insert as we're removing the bolt. I'm just gonna keep doing that a few more times to work that in, make sure it's completely cleared out of any corrosion before I put the bumper back on. But for now, let's do the lights. These right here, free leaf included. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, God. There we go. One off. Repeat. Okay. Now these ones here are H11s. Oh, God, what the hell? It's just to make my life even more difficult. Okay, there we go. Delicious. That's the burnt out one. Oh, the filament is actually stuck to the glass. And that one's burned out as well. All right, cool. So they're both burned out. Perfect. Now you can see the little tabs for how the bulb is oriented when it goes in, and you can see that what I was talking about earlier is that when the bulb is both seated, filament is right in this location right here, and that's directly where the LED is, which means that the light source comes directly from the filament, and it comes directly from the LED in the same spot. And if we look at the angle, hard to see because this bulb is burned out. Right here we have the bigger tab on the top, and if we look straight down you can see that this is angled exactly like this. So the light comes out, and everything is perfect. So this will have the identical beam pattern to a halogen bulb, just really, really bright. And there won't be any blinding anyone. So now I'll put it in. Now, because these are LEDs, they're polarized, means there is a positive and a negative side to it. So how you test that is you plug them in, and then we plug this one in, and now we check. Do they work? Okay, that's plugged in. Now let's turn the lights on. Oh, we have one working at least. And two, I got it right the first time. That never happens. Anyway, if they don't work, you just unplug them and flip them around. That's what I was trying to get at. But they both work, so that's cool. Okay, so now we're taking the headlights out to do those ones because that's going to be a lot easier than trying to reach behind it, and we're there anyway. So there's going to be 3 bolts holding the headlight in. So for some reason mine is a T20 right here. This is supposed to be a T30, so someone changed these. So they're matching on both sides. But you have to remove this one completely. And then the T30s is going to be right here, which you only have to loosen. You don't have to take it out entirely. Now we can remove what should be a T30. Last T30 is going to be the fun one because it's through this hole all the way down in there. So now you got 3 options here. One is to use these ball end sockets that have movement. You can use a universal joint like this. Then you basically just have to be a Jedi and use the Force to try and get this on here. And if you can't see, that's okay because I also can't see. Hey, it worked. So now that we're on there, now we can loosen it. That's one way. That works. Having ball end sockets kind of works. Or you can use a T30 screwdriver. And then just go through this hole, which goes straight down there. But you can see that my screwdriver is not long enough because you need a really long one to do that. That's my method. Works. It's not graceful. It's not easy. Now we can just unhook this right here. Now this should just slide out. Perfect. Flip it over. You can see the plug right here. Pry the tab up and pull it off. One headlight out. So now this right here is that screw that we were looking at. Put down some very clean microfibers so that we're not scratching the hell out of it. And now we can just pop this off. Pull this out, and you can see the bulbs right there. And then with this one, pop that off. Bulbs right there. In hindsight, this would be the best time to also change the signal bulb. You just unscrew and pull that out. Bulb is still good, and I didn't really think about that, so I don't have replacements on me. Anyway, that's basically it. So now for this, we just pull this right out. This pulls straight off. And we take the new one, taking note of the little ear right here, goes in that little channel right there. Now the headlight's upside down, so this is the top right here. So if you're in the car, this being the top of the headlight, the ear goes on the top, and then it just pushes straight in. Now just take this connector, plug it in. Now the same thing. Pull the bulb straight out. Off it goes. Take the new one, exact same orientation, and plug it in. Now we test. Plug this in. Now we can just kind of shoot that in. Yeah, sure, that's safe. Now we can turn the headlights on. And we only have one side, so the polarity's wrong. Now if we do high beams, that one works. So this one here has to be reversed. Go in here, pop it out, flip it around, shove it right back in. Turn it back on. Hey, look at that. Now they work. Low beam, high beam. Now it's a little bit close to the wall, so you can't really tell, but you can see at least a little bit. I'll try and turn the lights off so it's a little bit more visible. An HID throws light everywhere. So see how we have a concentrated area right here? So you can see that little section of shadow from my hand on the wall. So that's coming off right about the middle of the light. So you can kind of see it right in there. So that shows that there is a portion of the headlight where it doesn't have light scatter, which means that the hotspot of the bulb is in the correct location to be utilizing the angles of the reflector itself to project the light the way it should be. An HID won't do that. It's going to scatter light everywhere, and this hotspot is just going to be a giant blob. You're basically going to have a high beam on all the time. And obviously the angle is off, but you can see that it's a concentrated area. It doesn't have tons of light throwing everywhere like HIDs. So if you want brighter lights, get good LEDs that have the actual LED itself in the proper location. So now for this one, we have to remove this little piece of intake piping. So this just squishes and pulls right off. And now again with the universal joint. So let's pretend that we can see what we're doing. Oh, a dragonfly. Ah, delicious. Oh, that's gone forever. Okay, so now let's just kind of get in here somewhere. Kind of like something like this maybe. And then hopefully it goes in the thing. Okay, so that's out. That thing's huge, man. How the hell am I gonna get that out of here? Down. No, like down. That way. They wonder why bees are going extinct. Really? That. Like, just right there. Just, he'll figure himself out. It's right there. You're letting the heat in. It's so hot outside. Oh, you're so close. Just go. Oh my God. No, down. Come on. Oh, you idiot. You knocked yourself out. There's a learning disability. Jesus. They work. I just gotta put those caps on the back of the housing again and just weasel these things back in, button them all back up, and I can toss the bumper back on. Then this is done, and then I guess I'm done for today. Day 2, it's 9:38 in the morning, but the lights are all done. Beam pattern's good. We don't have any glare. Although one thing where the bolt down here and the one right down here go into, there's a tiny little spacer. And those are supposed to be 10 millimeters high. Like these ones in here were super rusted and they barely wanted to move, but these ones out here were brand new and someone just wound them all the way in. Well, the reverse thread, so they wound them all the way in. And they were all the way down, so it actually made a huge gap right here at the top. And that's what that's for, is it's for leveling out the gap. So now you can see that we have like a perfect gap all the way across. Like this fits flawless. Plus the new bulbs and everything, the fog lights, like everything works. Like this couldn't have come out any better. I mean, given it did take me like 4 hours to take the whole thing apart, fix everything, level everything, make sure it was all good, get it all back together and whatever. Then after everything, getting the whole bumper back on, I forgot to plug the harness in for the fog lights. So I had to take this whole corner back off so I could reach in there and plug that in. But anyway, that's done. Even if we turn the lights off, so that way just the fog lights are running, you can see that we have like a perfect cutoff from the fog lights. So like LEDs, good. HIDs, bad. So let's head down this road over here. So now we're down here, you can see that all the signs and everything are very well lit up. There's no light throw at the top of all the poles. Oh my God, the road disappears here. High beams. Now we have a very high throw on everything. And this is essentially what I'm trying to get at with the difference between LEDs and HIDs. Is HIDs will be like this all the time. You don't have a low beam. So the output on these is fantastic. Compared to a regular halogen bulb, these are, well, literally a night and day difference. Even the low beams, we still have a significant amount of visibility because the light throw is going significantly further than it was before. That's about it. We reached the end of the earth. So like the video if you liked it, dislike it if you didn't like it, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, or, you know, don't do any of it. I'm not telling you what to do.